Electric vehicles. You see them everywhere, silently gliding through city streets, charging up where gas stations used to be the only option. They promise a revolution, a cleaner, cheaper, and smarter way to drive. But what's the real story? Are they truly the future of transportation, or is it all just clever marketing? Are they actually better for the planet, cheaper to own? And what about safety? Today, we're cutting through the noise. We're going to break down the complete, unfiltered truth about electric vehicles, from the battery in the floor to the cost in your wallet. So, how does an EV actually work? It's simpler than you might think. Forget the hundreds of moving parts in a gasoline engine. An EV's heart is its electric motor powered by a large battery pack. When you press the accelerator, the battery sends electricity to the motor, which spins the wheels. That's it, instant torque, smooth acceleration, and almost complete silence. But there's a clever trick called regenerative braking. When you lift your foot off the accelerator or press the brake, the motor reverses its role. It becomes a generator. Capturing the car's kinetic energy that S normally lost as heat in a regular car, S brake sand uses it to recharge the battery. This is why EVs are so efficient in stop-and-go city traffic. The battery itself is a marvel of engineering. It's not just one giant battery. It's made of thousands of individual cells, similar to the ones in your phone, just bigger and more powerful. These cells are grouped into modules, and the modules are then assembled into a large flat pack that usually sits under the floor of the car. This design gives the car a very low center of gravity, which dramatically improves handling and stability. Managing all this is the Battery Management System, or BMS. Think of it as the brain of the battery. It constantly monitors the temperature, voltage, and current of every single cell to ensure they're all working safely and efficiently. It prevents overcharging and over-discharging, which is crucial for the battery's health and longevity. And to keep everything at the perfect temperature, EVs use sophisticated cooling systems, often circulating liquid coolant through the battery pack to prevent overheating, especially during fast charging or high-performance driving. Now, for the big question everyone asks, how much does it actually cost to own an EV? Let's break down the numbers, starting with fuel. The cost to charge an EV depends on your local electricity rates, but on average, you're looking at around $4 to $6 to drive 100 miles. Compare that to a gasoline car. With gas prices fluctuating, that same 100 miles could cost you anywhere from $11 to $14, or even more. That difference adds up fast. But the savings don't stop at the pump or the plug. Let's talk maintenance. A gasoline car has oil changes, spark plugs, timing belts, exhaust systems, and a whole list of other components that need regular service and replacement. An electric vehicle has none of those. Your main maintenance items are tires, brakes, which wear out much slower thanks to regenerative braking, wiper fluid, and cabin air filters. That's a huge reduction in scheduled service visits and costs. Let's put it all together in a 5-year ownership example. Imagine two similar mid-sized sedans, one electric and one gas. Over 5 years, the EV owner could easily save thousands of dollars on fuel alone. When you factor in the drastically lower maintenance costs, the total cost of ownership for an EV is often significantly less than its gasoline counterpart, even if the initial purchase price was a bit higher. And that's before you even consider any government tax credits or local incentives that might be available, which can bring that upfront cost down even further. So, while the sticker price might grab your attention, it's the long-term cost that tells the real story. Okay, so they can be cheaper to run, but are they reliable? What about that giant expensive battery? This is probably the biggest source of anxiety for potential EV buyers. The reality is, EV batteries are designed to last. Most manufacturers guarantee them for at least 8 years or 100,000 miles, and many are proving to last much longer, some even 15 years or more. A common concern is battery degradation, the gradual loss of capacity over time, just like your smartphone. But it's not as dramatic as you might fear. Data from thousands of EVs on the road shows that an average battery might lose about 5 to 15% of its total capacity over the first 100,000 miles. For a car with a 300-mile range, that means losing about 15 to 45 miles of range over many years of driving, which for most daily commutes is barely noticeable. What if the worst happens and the battery does fail outside of its warranty period? The replacement cost can be significant. There's no denying that. It can range from a few $1,000s to well over $10,000, depending on the car. However, prices are steadily coming down. Also, it's often not the entire pack that fails. Sometimes just a single faulty module can be replaced at a much lower cost. And as the EV market matures, a third-party repair and refurbishment industry is growing, offering more affordable options. So while the fear is understandable, the combination of long-lasting designs, strong warranties, and a growing repair market makes catastrophic battery failure a very low probability event for most owners. Let's move on to another critical topic: safety. How do EVs hold up in a crash? Because the heavy battery pack is in the floor, EVs have a low center of gravity, making them less prone to rollovers. Their strong, reinforced structures designed to protect that battery pack also create a very rigid safety cell for the occupants. In fact, many electric vehicles receive top safety ratings from agencies around the world. But what about fires? We've all seen the headlines. It's true. When an EV's lithium-ion battery does catch fire, it can be intense and difficult to extinguish. However, the data tells a different story about the frequency. Statistically, gasoline vehicles are far more likely to catch fire than electric vehicles. You're carrying a tank of flammable liquid. After all, the issue with EV fires is that they're new and unfamiliar, so they get more media attention. Now, for the environmental impact, are EVs truly zero emission? Well, yes and no. The car itself has no tailpipe and produces zero emissions while driving. That's a huge win for air quality in our cities. But to get the full picture, we have to look at the entire life cycle. Manufacturing an EV, especially the battery, is more carbon intensive than building a gasoline car. This creates an upfront carbon debt. However, that debt is paid off over time as you drive, the break-even point where the EV becomes cleaner than a comparable gas. Car depends on the cleanliness of the electricity grid you're reusing to charge it. In a region with a lot of renewable energy like solar and wind, that break-even point could be as little as a year or two. In an area that relies heavily on coal, it might take longer. But in almost every scenario, over its full lifetime, an EV has a significantly lower carbon footprint than a gasoline car. And as our power grids get cleaner, the environmental benefits of EVs will only continue to grow. So, you're considering making the switch. But then you see hybrids and plug-in hybrids. Which one is right for you? It really comes down to your lifestyle. A full battery electric vehicle, or BEV, is perfect for someone who can charge at home overnight and whose daily driving is well within the car's range. It offers the lowest running costs and the purest electric driving experience. A plug-in hybrid, or PHEV, is a great middle ground. It has a smaller battery that allows for 20 to 50 miles of all-electric driving, enough for most daily commutes. But it also has a gasoline engine that kicks in for longer trips, completely eliminating range anxiety. It's for the person who wants to drive electric most of the time, but needs the flexibility of gas for occasional road trips. A traditional hybrid, which you don't plug in, uses its electric motor to assist the gas engine, improving fuel economy but offering very limited electric-only driving. It's a good choice if you cut on plug-in at home but still want better mileage than a standard gas car. The technology we're seeing in EVs today is just the beginning. The future is even more exciting. The holy grail of battery technology is the solid-state battery. These promise to be lighter, safer, charge much faster, and hold more energy than today's lithium-ion batteries. Imagine charging your car as fast as you fill a gas tank. That's the future they're working on. Then there's the smart grid. As more EVs hit the road, our electrical grids will need to adapt. Smart charging will allow cars to charge during off-peak hours when electricity is cheaper and more abundant. Even more futuristic is vehicle-to-grid technology, or V2G. This would allow your car to not only draw power from the grid, but also send power back to it during peak demand, essentially turning every EV into a small mobile power plant that can help stabilize the grid and even earn you money. And of course, all of this ties into the development of autonomous technology. The powerful computers, sensors, and connectivity in modern EVs make them the perfect platform for self-driving features that will one day redefine our relationship with the car. So, let's bring it all together. Electric vehicles aren't perfect. There are still challenges to overcome with charging infrastructure, battery materials, and grid capacity. But they are evolving at an incredible pace. They are getting cheaper, their range is increasing, and the technology is becoming smarter and more integrated into our lives. The transition away from the internal combustion engine is a massive undertaking, but the momentum is undeniable. The future of transportation isn't coming, it's already here. If this video helped you understand the world of EVs a little better, make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is just part 1 of a series where we'll be doing even deeper breakdowns on specific models, charging technology, and more. Thanks for watching.